Hey guys, I'm Adam Mack and welcome back. Alright, so I hope you've seen my first video where we work out where you are now. Now this is the fun part where we work out where you'd love to be. Now I want to let you know that on this section, your job is not to work out how you're going to pull this off, okay? That's my job, so if you'd be so kind, let me do the worrying for both of us on how to get you there. Your job is simply just to choose. Okay, so make sure you've got your pen and paper ready, and we'll begin. So, have you ever noticed when you go and you get yourself something nice? Might be, if you're a woman, a nice dress, or you might get yourself, some new shoes, or maybe even a new car. And you don't notice it very often, but after you buy it, you start noticing it everywhere. Well, I'm hoping you're saying yes right now. Well, so what's happening there? So now some people would say, oh, well, that's the law of attraction, and they'd be right. And then other people, intellectual people, they would say, well, actually, that's the part of your brain called your RAS, your R-A-Z, R-A-S, forgive me. And what it does basically is it brings to your attention what's important. It has a few roles. One of them, it's a bit of a filing cabinet for past experiences. And the other thing that does is it brings to your attention what's important. So, once you've gone and spent, your hard-earned money on some new shoes or a nice shirt or dress or even a new car, well, guess what? Your brain, your RAS, just deemed that important. Therefore, you're going to notice it everywhere. So, on this next exercise, which is very powerful, and you must see this through, guys, we're going to get your RAS working overtime to make your dreams become a reality. So, here's what we're going to do. I invite you to come and time travel with me into the future. And now in this future, you are the you of your dreams. You're scoring high 9s or 10s in every area of life. If you don't have many friends now, you have as many friends as you'd like then. If you don't have much money now, you have unlimited resources. You have the money that you always wanted. You have the business that you always wanted. The relationship, the partner you always want, you have it all. So your job is simply just to choose. Now it's okay if you don't know what it is that you want, okay? But I invite you to just keep the pen writing, keep the pen moving, and see this through to the end, because if it doesn't get seen through to the end, it's not going to go anywhere. Alright, so I'd like to invite you to time travel with me now into the future where you are the you of your dreams. And now, I would like you to tell me what it's like to be you. Now, I'd like you to talk me through a day, from the moment your eyes open to the moment your eyes close on this day. Now, I don't want it to be a special day. Some people would like it to be the day they get married or when they go on a world holiday or something like that. Well, the thing is, guys, basically by choosing a special day, you could do that anyway. You could get a credit card, you could go on a world holiday, or you could get married. I want this to be the norm, okay? An amazing day, amazing you, and this is the norm that you're experiencing, okay? It's not like one special day in the future that you're looking forward to, because that would then basically that would then make you think that it's not that good after that, so to speak. So it's just a normal day of being amazing you. So you talk me through a whole day on what it's like to be this amazing you in the future, as if it's already happened. Now, there are some rules that you need to follow doing this. So I coached a client, and I did a very similar thing to what I'm doing with you now. And this particular client, he didn't have anywhere to stay. He was living on one friend's couch for 2 days a week. He was living on another friend's couch for a couple of days a week. And the other times, he was either staying out all night or he was in a hostel. So I coached him, and he's my record holder, so to speak, going from nothing to having this amazing day happen. And he did it because, one, he was fully committed, and two, he had nowhere else to go. This needed to work for him, so he was all in. Okay? And so he calls me up, and the record was just over 2 short years, but it's possible for you to do it even quicker. Who knows? And he called me up in just over 2 short years. And he says to me, Adam, I did my dream day. And I asked him, wow, that was amazing. What was it like for you? And he said to me, yeah, it was really good, except I didn't do this and I didn't feel this. So then I said to him, well, that's odd. Did you write it down? And he said, no, I wrote everything else down, but I just thought that bit in my head. Aha. So the first rule, guys, is you need to write this down. This is a command to the universe. Okay? So it's imperative that you write it down. Now, the other rules are, I've had someone else say to me, Adam, I've done this particular dream day. He noticed about a month afterwards, and he had the lovely wife, the lovely car, the lovely job and kids and the boat and all those things. And he said to me, it happened just the way that I wrote it down. But it appears that the universe has a sense of humor. And what happened was, he said to me, so you know the part where I said, spend time with partner? And I said to him, yes. He said, well, we fought for an hour and a half. So now we go to rule number 2. Rule number 2 is, if it's important to you, you need to dwell on it. You need to describe it. So instead of saying spend time with partner, because the universe did give him spending time with partner, but it gave him fighting with his partner on this wonderful day, okay? So you need to say connect on a deep level, or laugh and love, or enjoy spending time, or something along those lines, okay? So you need to describe it. And the other thing is, guys, trying to keep this above board, if you're into some kinky stuff with your partner or anything like that, and it has to happen on this day, nobody else needs to see this. So if it has to happen on this day, write it down. Only you and the universe are going to see this, okay? So put some effort in and make sure that you write it all down. Okay, now, so it's going to roll like this. You would say, I wake up, and you would write this down, I wake up. And then I would say to you, well, where do you wake up? Do you wake up in a tent? Do you wake up in a teepee? Do you wake up in a 5-star hotel? Do you wake up in the gutter on the side of the road with a hangover? Where do you wake up? So then it'll be like, oh, okay, Adam, I get it. I wake up in my Malibu beach house that I own, by the way. There's a sea breeze. My partner's there. She's still asleep. I just grin at her for a minute or two because she's amazing. My house backs out onto nature. I go downstairs and I walk outside and I connect with Source for a little while. I feel so amazing, so alive, so vibrant. I come back in, my partner's there wearing a towel with that silly grin. We sit down on the deck, we connect, we have coffee, we connect on a deep level. The phone rings, it's John. John takes care of our investments, and the good news is we made $2,000 extra while we slept last night. My partner and I decide to celebrate. We get dressed and we jump in our Lamborghini. We go to a local coffee shop where we know the owners, we have a great relationship, and we have an amazing breakfast. The phone rings again. Oh my goodness, it's friends from overseas. I'm so excited to see them, and they're also coming to have dinner at my place tonight. I can't wait. I head back home. I go to my home office. I check on how things are doing with my staff, who are amazing, who share my vision, and then I work from home for a few hours in my chosen field, helping people, which I get paid really well for. And then you'd pick a number, so which I earn $100,000 or $1 million a year or something, working a few hours a day from home, something like that. I then decide to go to the gym. I go to the gym, I feel so amazing, so alive. I feel so connected to my body. I feel one with it. I'm nourishing it. It loves the exercise. I catch my reflection in the mirror. And damn, I look good today. That type of thing, okay? Now, what we're going to be doing is, in this day, if you go back to the first video, we had the 6 different areas. So we had the business, we had the fitness, the health, the emotion, the finance, the relationship, the spirituality. I would like a reference on this day to each one of those. So for example, with the health and fitness, I felt so alive, so vibrant, saw my reflection, and I look good today. You get it? With the business one, we made $2,000 while we slept last night, and I'm so fortunate to be able to make $100,000 a year working a few hours from home. That's also a business reference. So have a reference for each of these areas. Okay guys, so I'd like you to get started. So it's from the moment your eyes open to the moment your eyes close. So go ahead, write that down. So I'd like you to start with I wake up and then go through the process. Okay. Now I don't want to hear any I don't or or anything that you don't want on this particular day. A bit like a dream board, okay? Only focus on that which you have. No references of money problems or anything like that. Just focus on all the good stuff, okay? And now go ahead and write that out, and I'll see you in a little while. As we're concluding on this amazing day that you've had, and you're drifting off to sleep, you've probably connected with your partner, you're feeling so satisfied, you've had an amazing work day, you feel alive, you feel like each day's getting better and better. What's the last thing that goes through your mind as you drift off to sleep on this amazing day and what it's like to be you? It could be, I'm so grateful, I feel so blessed, it's amazing how far I've come. Does your partner turn to you and say, baby, you did it, you pulled it off, you really did it, I'm so proud of you? Is it each day keeps getting better and better? Is it I love my life? Something like that. What's the last thing that goes through your mind, guys, as you drift off to sleep on this magical day? Don't forget to write that down too. So, now we know what it is that you want. On our first video, we worked out where you are now, and now we know where you'd love to be. Now, your job is not to work out how you're going to pull this off. I'm going to share with you something that's happened on my journey with a particular client. Now, this particular client was a very wealthy businessman. And what it was that he was looking for, basically, so he'd done really well, and he was looking to bring, so his business was on its way out. So times were changing. I won't give away the business, but kind of like once upon a time there were video shops on every corner where you go and rent your video and watch your video and then return it. But since downloads came out, you know, that's all faded away now. So he had a business that was similar to that. And so the writing was on the wall, and it was time for this particular client to either you know, retire, count his money and retire, that type of thing. But he couldn't because he was a go, go, go type person. So what he was really looking for was to bring a partner in that would keep him current and take it to the next level. The problem was, this particular client was not a very nice person. He was an expert in getting his way and walking over people. And he also thought that that he was better than pretty much most people. His belief was that you're born, you work hard, you earn your right, you leave your legacy, and then you're dead in the ground forever. And so he calls me up and he says, Adam, listen, I'd like you to coach me. I've seen the results with some clients, with some colleagues of mine, and so I'd like you to coach me. But I want to let you know I'm not into this airy-fairy stuff that you do with them as well. And I said, okay, all right. So anyway, what we did was, we've done what I've just done with you. So we worked out where he is now, and we worked out where we would love to be. And ideally what he was looking for was to bring in this particular type of partner. Biggest problem that he faced was nobody liked him. He wasn't a very nice person to be around. So anyway, a few weeks after we did this process that we've just done now, he was driving to work. Now, he bought himself the top-of-the-range Mercedes sports car, the best one that money could buy. He said to me, Adam, sometimes you just have to have the best. And he liked to think that he was better than everybody else. So there was people like him, and then there were, how shall we say, commoners, so to speak, okay? And on this most horrible day, he was on the phone to me, and he says to me, Adam, my car's broken down. Okay, so, you know, it's gone into the shop, and they've given him a lift into work. Now, he was working in Brisbane. Now, so in Brisbane, we have a thing called the Royal Easter Show. And it's called the Ekka, basically. It's just like a giant carnival, and it goes for about a week, and people come from all around Queensland to come to this big carnival. And the thing is, it's flu season at about that time too. Now, this particular client, he was a germphobe. You know, he was frightened of catching colds and germs and surfaces, you know, being clean and all of that type of stuff. So now he started off the day not so great. His car's broken down, his amazing Mercedes sports car, and then they've dropped him into work, and now he's done his day's work and nobody can give him a lift home. And because it's Ekka time, the Brisbane Carnival, he can't get a taxi home either. So he's got to do the most horrible thing that only children would do, in his opinion, and that's catch public transport home with all the other commoners, with all the other sick commoners, mind you. That was his words. So he's on the bus, hating this whole process, and there's somebody standing next to him, and standing room only. He's hating the process. This is something children would do, as far as he's concerned, and someone's playing music that he hates on speakerphone in the seat next to him, and he's resenting this, and there's someone coughing and sneezing, and there's a weird homeless guy that's hitting him up for money, and he's just hating this whole process. So he's on the bus, and he's just resisting, and then he puts his headphones in to try and basically go somewhere else in his head to take him out of this horrible place that he thinks he's at, and he can't hear anything. It's too loud on the bus, so he pulls him out, and then he surrenders. He goes, I give up. In that moment, his Raz picks up a conversation. He can't see who's actually saying it, but he can hear very clearly what's being said. And there's two men talking about the exact same thing that he's looking for to take his business to the next level. He's about halfway home. The bus stops, and then the voices hop off the bus. He then goes, oh, I need to meet those people. But then the bus has already shut its doors, and it's already starting to pull away. And he's like, oh man, I need to get off this bus. So then he squeezes his way through all the people. And he goes up to the bus driver and he says, listen, you need to let me off here. And the bus driver politely says to him, listen, I'm sorry, I can't do that. It's policy. It's not safe to let you off until the next bus stop. And plus, besides, I'm on camera. If I pull over now, I'd lose my job. Now, my client basically threatened him to stop the bus right there and then. I think we won't go too much into it. Now, I'm not advising anyone to threaten anybody. I'm just telling you what a process that's happened. And so basically, he lets him off. He's maybe 100 meters up the road. He jumps off the bus. My client wasn't very fit at the time. And so he drops his suitcase and he runs back like a madman, back to where the bus stop was, to try and find who the people were that were talking about the thing that he was looking for. And he's stopping random people on the street, and he's saying, excuse me, were you on that bus? And people are like, no. Excuse me, were you on that bus? No. Excuse me, were you on that bus? No. Then he gives up. His heart's beating out of his chest, right? He gives up, so then he walks back up to where he dropped his suitcase. It's still there, which I thought was remarkable. And he picks up his suitcase, he drags his feet, and then he walks back to that bus stop to wait for the next bus so then he can get home. Then, as he pulls up at the bus stop, he's about to sit down, there's a businessman sitting there. And this businessman says to him, I'll try and do the accent as best I can. He says, mate, you look like a right galah with all that run around you were doing. What the heck was up with that? And he says, I was trying to find the people that were talking about this on the bus. And he goes, yeah, mate, that was me. Long story short, guys, they're now business partners. They had a conversation. They're now business partners. They've increased their profits, and they're doing really, really well. So, why did that happen? Okay, so 1, he worked out where he was. 2, he worked out what it was that he wanted. He made the command to the universe. Okay, now, let's go sideways a little bit, and I'll explain the rules on how to make this a fun game on how to create your life. So, now, when you're having a feeling that doesn't serve you, okay, so for example, when someone does something and then you feel bad as a result, I put to you that it's never the thing that that person does that makes you feel that way. It's always you. It's always you. So and see, the thing is, it's your mind. Your mind is designed to keep you safe. Your mind is designed to keep you alive. Your mind is not designed to give you abundance, to give you success, or to make you happy, or to push through the scary thing that will give you those things. Your mind is designed to keep you safe. So back when we were in caves and there were saber-toothed tigers around, if there was long grass, your mind was designed to say, hey, long grass, there could be saber-toothed tigers, why don't you walk around? Or when you're on a cliff edge, your mind's designed, whoa, don't go too close to the cliff edge, you might fall off and die. That's your mind's job, to look for what can go wrong and to keep you safe. But it's not designed for abundance, and it's not designed for success or doing the scary thing that gives you those. Okay? So the first thing that we need to do is acknowledge our mind and thank it. Thank you, mind, for keeping us safe. But now you have a new job for your mind. And this new job, I'm going to explain to you the rules. Now, I don't make these rules. I just know the most successful and happy people all do a variation of these rules, and I've condensed it and made it even more simpler for you to follow. So rule number one, when someone does something that makes you feel not so great, I put to you, it's never the thing that they do that makes you feel that way. It's always you. It's always you. So what happens is your mind makes up a story. And if that story ends in loss or lack, then you'll feel bad. So that person did this, therefore it means I'm unloved. That person did that, therefore it means I'm no good. That person did that, therefore I should feel bad. It always ends in loss. Okay? So I'll explain to you the rules now. Rule number one, and I want you to write this down, guys. This is really important. Rule number one, I want you to recognize. Recognize. Write that down. Rule number one. Recognize when you're not feeling so great, when you're feeling bad. Okay? And you'll know because you'll be feeling bad. Rule number two, you can't get rid of a negative thought, but you can replace it with another one. It's impossible to get rid of a thought, but you can replace it. So replace it with one that serves you. So what do you replace it with, you ask? Well, you replace it with the portion of your dream day, of that future day, that coincides with what you're experiencing. So for example, if you're not in a relationship and you're feeling down and alone, you replace that story that your mind's telling you with the part of your future day where you're in an amazing relationship, connecting on a deep level, surfing the dizzying highs of life and love with your soulmate. If you don't have enough money, for example, once upon a time I was living week to week, and halfway through the week, it was only a few more days until I got paid, I'd run out of milk, so I couldn't have milk in my coffee. I'd replace that with when I'm coaching people, getting paid really, really well, and living in a rainforest retreat. Okay, so you replace it with whatever it is that your scenario it is, whether it be relationship or finance or emotionally or whatever it is, you replace it with that portion of your dream day. So you see, we've actually made a custom-made replacement and new belief system for you to carry you through. And the more emphasis that you can put on it, the more you can make believe it's real, the more you can pretend, the more enthusiasm, the more emotion you can generate. If no one's around, pretend you're high-fiving people, all of that, the sooner it will manifest into your reality. Now, worst case scenario, what will happen if you do this? And you need to do this. You can't just think about it intellectually. You have to apply it. But worst case scenario, what will happen is this. You're not feeling so good. Worst case scenario is you'll feel better. That's worst case scenario, guys. So you've got nothing to lose. Best case scenario, you'll create this future day and make it part of your reality. That's best case scenario. And fast. So you've got nothing to lose. So rule number one, you recognize. Rule number two, you replace. Now, what made the client on the bus do so well? Like, how come that manifests for him? Well, that's the third rule, guys. Okay. Rule number three is when you have inspired thought or when opportunity comes your way, you say yes. You act. You act right there and then. So my client was on the bus. He could have stayed on the bus feeling sorry for himself, or he could have forced the bus driver to pull over and run like a madman, look silly, and hopefully try and find this person. But he chose to act. So rule number one, you recognize. Rule number two, you replace. Rule number three, you act. Now, I'm going to put to you guys, most of the times when the action's required, it's not going to be at a convenient moment. It's like working a muscle, okay? When you first go to the gym, you know, you may not feel like being there, but after a little while, your muscles start liking it and you look forward to it and it becomes part of who you are and you enjoy it. Same thing with doing this. We've been conditioned to do things. It's my cat, dude. You've been conditioned to do things a particular way with a particular model. Okay, but once you learn the real rules of life and how things really work and you start applying these on a daily basis, stuff will turn around. and it'll turn around really, really fast. And it's also a cool way to make it a fun game on how to create your life. So guys, I invite you to follow the rules and apply this to your life. So once again, rule number 1, recognize when you're not feeling so great. 2, replace with the bit of your dream day that applies. 3, when you have inspired thought or when opportunity comes your way, you act. And as I said, it may not be at a convenient moment. There's been times where I've had an idea, I'm in the shower, I'm shampooing what little hair I have, and I've got no towel. And I get this cool idea, and then I have to do a quick run to the other side of the house to find a pen and paper to write this stuff down, or I'm going to forget. So I take the option, okay, I do the quick run, and then I write it down, and then something good comes from it. Now, sometimes I may have guests in the house and have to kind of work my way around them, and that's a true story, but that's just how it is. So, but you need to start working this new muscle, okay? And then after a little while, it may feel like a tennis match going on in your head, but just stick with it, and it'll become a fun game on how you create your life. So guys, that's 3 teachings that I just wanted to share with you, okay? So 1, work out where you are, work out where you want to be. Once you've worked out where you want to be, then you have a custom-made replacement for everything that happens that doesn't feel good. Now, the other thing is, guys, you don't need to do this when you're feeling bad. You can do it all the time. What I implore you to do, once again, your hand, just put a little dot there or something like that. Every time you see that dot, think of a bit of your dream day. Oh, I saw it. Dream day. Oh, I just saw it again. Dream day again. Every time you see it, maybe put a post-it in your car. Maybe put a post-it on your fridge. A little note, you know, down your hallway. One inside your toilet. And just train yourself to always come from that place. Abraham Hicks talks about this. They call it the vortex, the place of creation, where you're feeling good and then you become a powerful creator. And I don't know what would make you feeling better than living your dream day right now. And it will blow your mind, guys, on how fast this stuff will happen for you. So anyway, guys, I hope this helps. Now, the thing is, this is only good advice if you take it. If you think about this intellectually and then don't do it, guys, you might as well just go and hang out with other people that don't take control of their life and save yourself, you know, the time it took to watch this video, to be honest. This only works if you apply it. Now, if you forget, if you're all in, and this only works if you're all in. If you forget, 2 days might pass and you forget. But when you do remember, don't beat yourself up. Just come back to it, replace again, and get straight back to it again and again. And what will happen is those forgetful bits in between, they'll get shorter and shorter and shorter until you're only coming from a place of your dream day, and you'll be living your life as if you already have it now. And then when it does come, it'll be amazing. And the other thing, guys, is it will probably come in a way that you don't think it'll come. So so we have what we call the way, okay, our planned way, and then the universe, in her infinite wisdom, knows what's called a shortcut. Now, if we knew the shortcut, it would be called the way. The universe knows the shortcut, and now to us, I'm gonna put it out there. Probably 70% of the time, the shortcut will look like the long way, but it'll just flow. The grass doesn't strain to grow. You just trust yourself, okay? Recognize, replace, and act. Recognize, replace, and act again and again and again. And guys, it will be a fun game on how you create your life. Anyway, guys, I hope this helps. Until next time, my friends, keep that fire stoked. I'm Adam Mack, and I'll see you next time.